G'day, Lockie here. So about 2 weeks ago I read a really interesting blog by Dave Cheney and the folks over at Heptio about a new release of Heptio Contour. Now if you're not familiar with Contour, I did a video on an OSS unboxing of Contour several months ago, but the TLDR is Contour is a Kubernetes Ingress controller built on top of Envoy. Right, so one of the things that really piqued my interest in that particular blog that was written up was in 0.6 of Contour, I believe, they introduce a new custom resource type called IngressRoute. Now, we're going to go into IngressRoute, but I thought it might be fun, given the feedback I've had in the past. One of my #1 watch videos on my channel is around Kubernetes Ingresses, getting started with them, doing things with them. So I figured I'd take everybody on a journey through setting up a Kubernetes Ingress controller, and then I don't think that I will have time to go through every intricate detail of IngressRoute, this new resource, but let's just step through it, get a feel for it, and I can always make another video diving deeper. I'm sure there's plenty of goodies in there. So let's just get on with it. Enough of listening to me talk. So ground up, right? This is, I have a Kubernetes cluster. You're just going to have to trust me. I have an ACS engine Kubernetes 1.11 cluster, and I am now going to just install Contour, right? So let's see what that does. I've got namespace, a service account, custom resource deployment, role binding, and a service. So I would hazard a guess I could get pods in the namespace called heptio Contour, and I should have, okay, so Contour is up and running. Nothing cray there. This is just straight up. Okay, and there's an example workload that they ship. So let's go and deploy that as well. Okay, so I've created deployment, service, and ingress. Kubectl get pods. I should have this up and running. Okay, I have 3 replicas of the guard. I don't know if it's card or guard. Somebody let me know. But it's for Kubernetes Up and Running, which is a book. You should read it. It's great. The app was built, I think, for that, and it displays some really nice information around the container runtime, you know, the pod runtimes, environment variables, things that are going on at a glance through a web UI. So I'm going to use that. It's really easy to use, but that just models as ingress, service, deployment. Okay, kubectl get. Let's see what we're working with in the ingress. Okay, so we have an ingress and we're matching star on port 80. It's been there for 37 seconds. Okay, now ingresses, layer 7. We're looking at layer 7. We're not looking at layer 4 like we do with load balancers, service type load balancers. We're looking into HTTP headers. So when you have a host of star, everything's going to get passed through to whatever the destination is on that, which is probably this deployment services and then subsequently deployment. So yeah, we need to actually make sure we have a DNS record if we want to use FQDNs and virtual hosts. Okay, and the way we would do that is this should ship with the service, heptio Contour, and we want to create a, okay, so I have this service IP address. I'm going to pop over to Azure here. I have Azure DNS set up for a domain that I have, and I'm just going to add a record set, and I'm just going to call it star.ing for ingress. Is everybody okay with that? Actually, I'll call it ingress. Okay, so we're going into the ingress controller. Star is a wildcard A record here. I'm going to give it the load balancer IP that I just pulled off the service, and so I have a name, and anything on the left of this dot will go into the ingress controller, will resolve to a name. So we can try to just acid test this on the command line here and say test.ingress.az.kubernetesdemo.io, and I would expect to get an A record with 192.191, and I do, right? So now I can request things by a name and get an IP address and then be routed to the right place, and making all the FQDNs and virtual hosts match would be great. Okay, so I'm matching everything, so I could probably just go to a browser here and actually just whack this in, and I would expect to hit the guard, yep, the choir demo. Okay, so I do hit that, and let's see a little bit more information. I'm just going to scroll back up here. It looks like I have 3 pods. I hit the 257QM. I'm going to refresh. I hit the J8BL2. I'm going to refresh, and I hit the, okay, so we're round robining out of the gate. Okay, round robining, hitting the service, and then hitting those subsequent. Okay, nothing new here, nothing new. This is vanilla Contour still honors Kubernetes Ingress resources, so those default Ingress resources. Okay, haven't done anything. This is just straight out of the box. Okay, fantastic. Now we're going to move a little faster here, and we're going to pop back to the docs. Okay, and I'm going to go up to docs, and I'm going to go down to IngressRoute. Okay, so what I want to now take you onto is looking at this IngressRoute, because this is where things get real interesting. Everybody's very familiar with core Ingress, what it can do, what it cannot do. The IngressRoute aims to solve things that the default Ingress cannot do, and that's what I'm really excited about. So what I'm going to do now is actually model the default Ingress as an IngressRoute and model the same behavior here. So I'm going to pop over here to Trusty VS Code. I have the Ingress resource in front of me here. That's it, vanilla. That's the one I just installed. I'm going to model it as an IngressRoute. Okay, so the only things I'm going to do that are different, we don't actually have a match statement up here. I'm going to add an FQDN and scope it to Ingress. Let's just call it that. Quad ingress.8, okay, and we're going to push it through to that. So this should be the same thing. It should do exactly the same thing. Actually, why don't I do just one or two more things before we do that, because I want to limit my log surface area for the purpose of just showing this contour. So I'm going to go and scale this down. So if you've never done a scale before, you can do a scale of a deployment. I'll just use shorthand here, contour, and I'm going to set the replicas to 1. Right, so should I just have one pod now? Okay, one's terminating, we have one here. So with this one, kubectl-n, heptio contour, I would like to take a look at the logs, please, of this pod. Okay, what is this telling me? Okay, I have multiple, so you can see that I actually have 2 containers inside this pod. So it's saying, hey Lockie, which container logs do you want to look at? And I also have an init container too, so I could specify that. Now contour is the piece that looks at the Kubernetes API, models those specs into a DAG, and then models that abstraction into Envoy config and push it down Envoy. So I don't actually really care about contour and what it sees. I just want to see if I'm getting logs through to the back end here. Okay, kubectl delete ingress, and the ingress name was quad deleted. Oh, and Envoy says I just removed the listener. So that whole thread is actually working. And what I'm going to do here is create the Ingress route custom resource version of the same thing, just to demonstrate that at least that loop works. And I don't want to do that in my paste buffer. I want to actually go and grab this. Just using standard in here to create the resource. Okay, so I've created this IngressRoute resource. That is interesting. I'm going to grab that kubectl get. I've got a custom resource called IngressRoute. Okay, I can actually see it here. Fantastic, fantastic. It's valid. Wonderful status information. And I can see that Envoy's actually seen it. Right, so ideally, if I go and hit our trusty demo, da-da, voila, we're in the same place. Same place, same place. Okay, so you can see all the hits here. We can actually see the paths. What was asked, we're not serving a favicon. Not serving a favicon. Oh man, not serving a favicon. Okay, but you can see on valid backends or valid paths here that we're actually going through, and yeah, all the paths are getting shot down. Fantastic, fantastic. So all I've done is modeled a default Kubernetes ingress as an ingress route, which can be read by the ingress controller contour. Nothing else. Nothing else. Pretty plain, smooth sailing so far. So hooray for the docs, hooray for me, and thanks for watching me do this. Okay, so what else are we going to do here? What else are we going to do? There's virtual host configuration, okay? So we can do some really interesting things here. Okay, so you could have multiple hosts in one file. I think this does, okay, one virtual host per file. That's fine. TLS. Who's excited about TLS? Okay, let's go ahead and do TLS. I like to use Cert Manager. Cert Manager makes your life really easy. How about we just, let's see, Cert Manager. Okay, I'm going to use Cert Manager because Cert Manager goes out to Let's Encrypt and gets me a certificate, takes care of all that loop. Install, docs, Getting started, configuring Helm. Oh, okay, there's an RST. I think there's actually proper docs here. And I'm just going through the GitHub page. Okay, install. All right. Do I have Helm on this cluster? Okay, I do. I have Helm. So I'm installing Cert Manager now for the purposes of getting a cert. I'm going to add a cert to that IngressRoute and make sure that I can serve a cert. Okay. So there are docs. Where are the docs? Let's see. So I can show you so that you might read the docs, documentation, read the docs. Okay, so go and take a look at cert-manager.readthedocs.io and you can look at the getting started and the tutorials. I'm going to glance over issuer creation and I might just do, I'm going to create, I believe, a cluster issuer. So a cluster issuer and a certificate manually. So you can go ahead and do that. The details are in the documentation there. Issuer. Right, so I've created an issuer. Actually, why don't we do this? kubectl get pods in the namespace kube system, because when I used Helm, I installed Cert Manager in there. Okay, so kubectl logs-f and the namespace kube system. I want to just show you how pieces of this work. Okay, so I'm watching the certificate manager logs now. I haven't done anything. I've just set up a profile and issuer to call out to Let's Encrypt. Now I'm going to ask it to give me a certificate. And the certificate request, let's just replace contour here, because that was when I was messing around with this earlier this week. We've replaced that with the word ingress, and I probably want to keep the ingress class as contour. It's the only instance I don't want to change. So I'm going to ask for a certificate against this cluster issuer, and it's going to have this common name, which is great, and these DNS names. I've had sans, I did not have sans. Okay, so let's see if that actually works in the HTTP ingress class. Okay, so let's give this a shot. So I have the certificate, kubectl create -f desktop certificate.yaml. So I'm going to go and ask for the certificate called Quad Ingress AZ. Okay, so it's not happy yet. One will be created. No existing challenge found. One will be created. I think on the next loop it should go through. And what we should have, kubectl get secret. This loop's going to go out to, that's the existing certificate that I have. Ooh, looks better. Okay, so I should end up with another certificate and here. I'm going to delete this one. Delete secret. Boom. That one is gone. The other one is there. Okay, yeah. So we have this new certificate. It's gone out to Let's Encrypt. We've done the verification through HTTP, validation there, I should say. And I have a certificate now. So I have a certificate that I can use with that ingress. Okay, so let's go back to the docs. Sorry to glaze over that Cert Manager. I should do a whole video on that itself. Okay, so what do? TLS secret name. Making it too easy for me under the FQDN. So I'm going to go back to this Ingress resource. Under the FQDN, I'm going to give it the secret name that I just created. And it should serve it up with that certificate. Yep, looks good. So that name's going to look like that. Now, am I indented too far? Yes, I'm one indent off. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to again use cat. I will go back to my logs here of contour in the middle there. EOF kubectl apply -f dash. Give it this. Now all I've added is the secret name for TLS. Oh, and I have a bad spacing here. So let's go ahead and do that one more time. A bad indentation, I should say. You know what? I do not need this anymore. So let's just do that rather than me kubectl apply -f desktop ingress. Apply that again. Okay. So let's just do a kubectl. Why not? Trust myself. Ooh. Ooh. The pretty green lock. The pretty green lock is there. Okay. Whoa, I have a certificate. I'm serving up a certificate. But riddle me this, riddle me this, riddle me this. It looks like it redirected by default, which is really slick if it did. So let me go over here because redirects by default. This is just a different browser. Redirects by default. So I cannot hit it. I cannot hit it on untrusted, on just plain HTTP. Right, okay. I think I saw something in the docs here. So there's health checking. I don't think it would go through. Permit insecure. Permit insecure under the match. Okay, so let me do that. Under the match, under the match. Okay, well, under the match, permit insecure. I would like to permit insecure only for the purposes of this demo. That is done. Can I permit insecure? I cannot. Did I put it in the right place? Or am I just getting tricked? Curl. I can. I feel like I'm being tricked because I can hit it on. I can hit it. Got it. It just wants, everybody wants me to be secure. What happens if I like do 80? Am I really getting redirected? Did I put it in the right place? On the match and the secret name, match, permit insecure equals true. Let's just double check. Match permit insecure equals true. Because I would expect maybe it's following, curl's following the 301 on the redirect. These cheeky little browsers sometimes. Let's just Safari it up. Safari it up. Is it really going to search? Yeah, I can hit it. It doesn't redirect. It's just my browser saying, why would you do that? See? And I've hit it on secure. See? Okay. So it is doing the right thing. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Browsers do try. Okay, Safari's a lot happier for me to switch. It's trying to say, I see you and I will let you do what you want. I'm not sure how I feel about being redirected, but, you know, I'm sure they have wonderful intent. Okay, what else are we doing here? Okay, basic ingress. What else can we do? What else can we do? How about we do one more thing before I call it on this video? I saw weights up here. Want to do weights, want to do weights. Okay, want to do this. Upstream weighting. This is canary. This is blue-green. I'm only going to show it really quick. Okay. If no weights are specified, it's even distribution. If weights, they do not need to add up to 100 if all weights. Okay, so the total was the weight, the total of the sum of those specified. Okay, and you calculate it. That makes good sense. If some weights are specified but others are not, it's assumed that they are 0. Okay, all right. That was me paraphrasing. Read this yourself. But what we're going to do here is add a weight. Well, actually, we don't have a second service. Do I have a second service? Let's go ahead. I actually created v2, so I'm going to create a v2 service here, just for the, okay, kubectl create -f desktop. No, and I'm going to do this. Yep. Okay, so I created v2 and a deployment v2. That's just going to give me something to hinge this off. Right, so it was basically create another service, and I just created v2. If I was to do this, that would be equal. Should I do this? Should I do this? Fine, yeah, I'll do this. Okay, so let's just do this first. Apply. Okay, so now we should have V1 and V2 equally load balanced. Doesn't matter if we have SSH or not. That is V1, because I think it'll be -2 here. I'll just do a get pods. Right, so anyhow, we have 3. So how about I scale down let's scale this down so we can see some distribution things here. Scale the deployment quad replicas equals 1. Didn't want to do that, didn't want to do that, didn't want to do this. No, replicas, it's actually kubectl scale. What am I doing here? Come on, Lockie, you're getting sloppy. There we go. Okay. You guys would have caught that at home. You guys and gals would have caught that at home. Okay. Okay, so now we're down to 1.1. Okay, so we should see in the name V2. Not V2. Not V2. Not V2. V2. Okay. So we are hitting them both. Okay, so now let's just go add wait. Now I want to go wait, and I'm going to say 90 and wait. Well, let's imply that this is 0, but let's make it 10. Right? Apply. I did not want to do that. I want to do that. Okay. So 90% of the traffic should go to... Okay. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of V1. I'm seeing a lot of V1. V2. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Now the other way around. Now the other way around. Now the other way around. Okay. 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 I should see a lot of V2 and not much V1. Oh, yes, yes, yes. A lot of V2, a lot of V2. I'm frantically pressing Command R on a Mac here. A lot of V2, not much V1. And just, this is implicit if it's not weighted at all. Okay, so let's just unweight we should be all at V2 now. Okay, that is called poor man's, not me being the poor man, blue-green, poor man's canary. So we've done it. Okay, I think I should stop there. So to recap, just what we've done. Okay, deployed an Ingress controller called Contour. Okay, nothing there, nothing special other than Contour is great, and I see a lot of promise with this IngressRoute. Excited there, but nothing out of the ordinary. You can go get any Ingress controller, do the same thing. Deploy the Ingress controller, wait for it to get a service load balancer IP, put that into DNS. Deployed Quad, which had an Ingress service and a deployment using the traditional or the core Kubernetes Ingress resource. I then modeled that as an IngressRoute, this custom resource that Contour 0.6 now honors. And then what else did we do? We added TLS to that using Certificate Manager, and then we did some weighted round we added weighted to model essentially canary or blue-green or whatever you call it. And that's great. There's so much more to this. There's so much more to this. I might do a follow-up video if everybody's really excited about it, but I'm just hacking away, and I wanted to record myself hacking away. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for joining. If you like these videos, give me a thumbs up. It does help. It makes me see which videos you all like. And feel free to subscribe. I do this for everyone, but I like to know somebody's watching. If nobody's watching, there's no point in me doing it. So I'd appreciate it if you subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and it was fun. Cheers. Bye.